Click that guy. We are rolling. And get this guy up. All right. 5 skulls remaining. When we last left our intrepid band of heroes.
Murder hobos?
Murder hobos. Howling of idiotic dogs in the distance. We had just...
baying of a gigantic hound.
Gigantic pain in the ass, yeah. I don't know about hound, but definitely a gigantic something. We had just come up to the face of a poor, well, I don't know.
Something hideous.
Something hideous. Something quite unpretty. And oh, there it is. I wonder where I put that. Where did I put that hideous thing? I put it right here. Blink. There we go.
You.
This bloated mass of jellyfish-like stuff with a galaxy of crystalline globes suspended within the body of it, completely filling and or blocking the way into the room that every instinct of our intrepid paladin tells her must be where the answers that she was sent by the goddess to discover lie. Which is to say, there's a big golden book on the altar inside the room. Said altar was depicted in the painting up in the cabin. And in order to get to it, well, that is a heck of a good question. So this thing is sitting here and sort of keening this unearthly and unpleasant song at going to call it live coffee house performance volumes. And let me see. Torwin had been investigating the room to the south with the tattoo stuff in it. Basler has maintained a respectful distance. And everyone else is up next to the thing. Entity? Creature? Cocktail? I don't know. What, if I may be so bold, do you do? I find myself needing to flip over to Google just so I can see everybody's faces. And
I don't poke myself with the tattoo needles.
that seems like a really fantastically good idea.
See, yeah. I have them.
You have lots of good ideas. I think I like all your ideas. I personally like all of your ideas. I think they're great.
There's a new
you talk about
write your own adventure game
talk about
that Torwin is playing.
Yeah. Talk about there's actually an RPG you can get, a little tabletop role-playing game you can get called Cheat Your Own Adventure, and you're playing characters, but you're playing in like a with the ability to like go go back to page 2.
I would like to try something.
Okay. I would like you to try something.
I'm wondering if somehow we can communicate with this thing, especially if we can break it out of its reverie. So I am going to try my magical music move.
Your magical music move. Okay, I'm going to go look at your magic.
Let me back up first.
Your magical music move. When I sing and play a song, describe it and roll charisma. On a 7+, I hold the attention of every intelligent creature that can hear/see/hear you until the performance is completed or until something happens to break their attention, and choose one. On a 10+, choose two. A member of the audience becomes enraptured with me. One or more members of the audience gives me gifts. A member of the audience requests my services. Okay.
I don't know that you want him to give you a gift, dear.
Well,
the gift of eternal life as a holder of souls within your translucent body. That's quite a gift.
I've been offered worse.
You've been offered a lot better many, many times.
True. But
Okay.
given that I'm not sure I want to try a cutting jibe with this thing instead, I am hoping that somehow translate some of this effect into.
I'm not hearing you.
Again,
I'm hearing
You're
you.
in and out for me.
I'm hearing you. Okay. That might
I'm
be.
hearing you fine.
It might be your local network going crazy.
You're Dave, or is it just me?
I think it's just you. Or, well, I don't know. It's not. Dave's not doing it to us.
Okay, everyone's sort of cutting in and out for me too. Let me turn off my video and see if that helps.
Okay. I think I have everything shut off over on Dungeon Worlds or on the Roll20. So.
Here's from what I can see.
Okay, so Dave, describe to me. I'm down with the magical music. What does this involve? Like, what instrument are you doing? What song? What are we doing?
I have my travel viola, and I'm going to try initially to join in.
Okay.
With the keening that this thing is making, sort of try to harmonize, try to join in, work with it to diverge in a way that will draw its attention.
Okay.
I can sing along while I'm doing my bowing, and I will start sort of wordlessly trying to match the keening this thing is doing. Segue into some sort of tune that talks about abandonment and loss and waiting for something to happen, whether it's the approach of death or the return of someone long expected. And take it for the moment because I want to see if I draw any reaction from it before I turn it into a more direct message. But assuming that I do get some sort of reaction, try to complete the song as long over, whether that again is someone they've been parted from has returned, their long watch is complete, etc., etc.
Sure. Okay. Okay. I'm going to actually say there's probably two phases to this, but it's a great idea.
Okay, and just FYI, I just got a note from Catherine that she's going to have to restart because she's still having problems on her machine.
Okay. All right. All right. So. The first thing I think that the first thing that you'll need to do is figure out the tune and figure out how to match it. So that before the magical music portion of it is actually going to be an act under pressure. Is it act under pressure? Is that what it's called? Hack and slash. No, defy danger. I'm sorry. I'm going to the Star Wars names and stuff. Defy danger using dexterity, which basically you're trying to basically just use your just plain old nuts and bolts musical skill to just match the notes before you start infusing with power. I'm just saying there's 2 stages to the roll. That first and then the check. Yeah.
I'm looking at defy danger and basically defy danger can be applied to pretty much any of the attributes.
Yes. I want it to be dex.
But you think this is like akin to getting out of the way or acting fast?
I think
which is what dex would be.
I think that it involves nimbleness of fingers on the strings, which is why dex.
Fair enough.
Don't worry, charisma's coming next because you got that check coming too.
I'm sure. Okay, I will.
Because my only other option in terms of just using your instinct to fiddle and get the music to match, instinctively speaking, would be wisdom, and you don't want me to have you roll.
Would be wisdom, and that's probably not what I want to do.
Now,
okay, sure, I'll take dex.
So in a surprise twist, however, because you were analyzing this 2 games ago and doing one of your things with the music and sort of trying to figure out stuff about it. It wasn't a spout lore, but it was your bard ability. You actually have a +1 forward on this roll.
Yeah, I'm losing you 2 dice.
Okay. All right, hang on. We'll wait and see if the internet catches up. Let me know if you can hear me.
Not losing you on my noise.
Yeah. We need to all chip in and invest in a T3 for the Hill Clear Up household. Am I coming back in or am I still cutting out, Dave? How's it sounding now, Dave? Hello? Hello? Anyone? Viewer?
Hello, I can hear you.
Okay, good.
Okay, now I can hear you.
All right.
Yes, can you hear me?
I'm hearing the eerie background music. Are you? Really?
Yeah, you got that playing in the thing.
Oh, that's funny.
You're going in and out, Joyce.
It's just been... I'll shut that off. See if that helps at all. I didn't realize that was still playing. I can't hear it. How about now, Dave? Am I any better?
Yes, you are better.
All right, good. I'll shut off the music. I didn't realize that was still streaming, so that will be one less data stream that you guys have to worry about. I was saying we need to all chip in and invest in a T3 for your house. 3 whole gamers trying to listen to one audio stream all at the same time. No, the internets cannot take it. Okay, so where was I starting to cut out? What was I talking about?
You started to say, since you started analyzing this 2 sessions ago, this music, therefore something.
Yes. So you had actually done a...
No, Catherine said she's still glitching and lost the whole call.
Okay.
I'm back now.
Oh.
And she's a robot. She's not a chipmunk, at least.
I'm hearing bits of I'm hearing bits of her voice.
She's actually in the game. She's actually in the call twice. Catherine, can you hear me?
I'm not getting anyone.
Catherine, can you hear me?
In glitches.
Okay.
That was somewhat audible.
Yeah, I can hear her. I can hear her fine. But she can't hear me, which is problematic.
I can hear you right now, but
yeah, I don't.
It's a lot.
I don't. I can't shut off any more streams than I've already shut off. Really.
Neither can I.
Data-wise, yeah. I don't think I can't send any less data than I already am.
You technically could.
Well, I don't know what though. I mean,
you can turn off video.
I can turn off video. There, less video.
Well, I have everything that I can closed.
Okay, you sounded a lot better just there, Catherine.
Yeah. Okay. I think Margie's muted. All right. So, Dave, what I was saying was you did an analysis sort of the music. This was several sessions ago. You did have a roll, and from that roll, I had quietly made a note that you have a +1 forward for this kind of activity with trying to do stuff of this type with the sort of the matching of the music. So you have a +1 to your roll that's been waiting for you to use, sort of in the wings quietly for like 3 sessions now. So yay!
Okay.
So you
Well,
had your dexterity is a 1. Your dex is a 1 rather. Plus the. So you got an 8 plus the 1 gets you a 9, which is still fine. Okay. So it takes you probably a minute of matching, and the reason part of the reason for that is simply because it's music, but it's not as though anybody composed this thing on an instrument. So you're not even doing sharps and flats as much as you're doing like, you're matching sharp and flat notes to try to. It's consistently sharp and flat, but
it's not music. It's tones.
Yeah. It's a keening wail set to a repetitive tune, and as a result, you've got this sort of, you're not having to hit a B flat. You're having to hit a B demi flat, somewhere between a B flat and an A, and it's ugly. So it takes a bit of time to get that, just in general, synced up to where you're doing it. And once you feel like you've really got the basis of it, and also you notice as you're listening to it, it isn't just, this thing is only singing. So really, by rights, it should only be able to do one note at a time. It's not doing that. It's singing chords. Somehow, it's singing chords. And they're a multiplicative factor more complex than what you can really do on the viol. There's just more notes coming out of this thing than you've got strings on the viol. So you're there, somewhat hampered, but you are successfully matching the thing as much as anybody, certainly, and as far as the musical plebes in the peanut gallery can tell, you are matching this thing note for note. It takes a little bit of time, and there's some. Let me think. Your strength is with this instrument. But you can't help but think it would be easier with the organ. But that would no, I'm just saying it would flat out be you're just able to do more notes and stuff. So if you're gonna try to dead match this thing, you can proceed the way you are, and knowing that for all your skill with the instrument, you're going to be somewhat hampered. So your
instrument and voice.
You are filling in with the voice, and that does help. You may be somewhat hampered, or you sort of retreat and try again with the organ that may have a whole slew of other possible.
Yeah, I'd like to really try to give it the old Bardic college try.
Bardic college try. That's good. I like that. Without the help of the skeleton organ?
Cursed organ that will probably steal my soul, or a percentage of it.
Steal your soul, please.
It's a donation, I know.
They lease. It's an interest-based loan kind of situation. Soul equity.
I'm worried that the only college we have available in this place is FU.
Yeah. All right. So having achieved that, yeah, you're getting some weird echoes in the place. It's causing some weird reverberations. It's not quite the rumble that you got when Torwin sort of ham-fistedly stabbed his ham fist. But there is some
There is some sort of reaction from the
There's some-
complex.
there's some geological reaction going on. So it's not too bad, and assuming you don't bone it too bad going forward, it should be bearable. I guess we'll find out.
What could possibly go wrong?
What does anybody else have anything they would like to do at this point before we proceed with the next phase? Now that you're pretty much matching it, and you're just kind of riding along until you decide, okay, now we go. Kind of, you know what I mean? Making sure you really have the hang of it before it's like you haven't quite dropped into the wave yet, but you're right there at the peak. Anybody else want to do? I noticed that Ash is backed up around the corner. Although I will point out that he's choosing to cower near that gigantic statue with the eyeballs inside eyeballs. So I don't know I don't know if he's found a better place to hide. Anyway.
Let me ask, Margie stepped away. Let me quick ask her if she's got something she wanted to do.
Yeah. Okay. She's in a good place. I mean, I like where she is. She's good.
Hey, were it better to guard against the statue coming to life than right in front of it?
That would be a disturbing statue to come to life. I mean, just that would be. A couple glances over there, it kind of feels like some of the little ones seem to be moving, or at least following you. I'm sure it's just an illusion of the light.
One can only hope.
All right. Did Margie have anything, Dave?
She is back at her microphone.
All right.
Hi.
Hi.
So is there any form of praying to the goddess kind of help that I can give him on this?
Oh, yes. Help would be just fine, actually.
And while we're at it, it's a chest on the other side of this that is really attracting my attention, right?
It's not a chest. It's the altar, which is right about
that's what I mean.
here. You can kind of see it through the goop. It's kind of outlined right there. There's a little bit. It's like right there, and there's a hole in the floor. It's not that whole big black circle, but it's definitely in the center of the floor, and it's large. It doesn't look like it was originally there. It looks like it was broken through the floor. And the body, some of the body disappears down into it.
Does it look like it was broken from below up or from above down?
It's been so long, it's hard to say. It's definitely, I'd say it's broken because jagged, but that's the easiest way you can say it. And there's actually a hole in the ceiling, and that one actually looks intentional. Like it was originally built that way, like a chimney or something. Which actually wouldn't necessarily be that weird. If this is some sort of altar, you'd have like maybe burned altars or something like that, burned offerings or whatnot. You could have a chimney up out of here. But if so, wherever the burning was taking place wouldn't have been the altar. It would have been kind of where the hole was at, and that's long since been destroyed or wrecked or caved in or whatever. But the golden book that you feel as though contains the answers you seek is right over here. And this thing's kind of all in the way. Let me look at...
unless I want to try and order it again, but...
Yeah.
That actually helped last time.
Well, the problem is, and this is going to be a bit of a challenge for Dave also, is that this thing is not I don't know that you would really call it a conscious being anymore. So ordering it's tricky. All right, let me look at basic moves. We want to look at help, aid, or interfere. When you help or hinder someone you have a bond with, I'm not going to roll plus bond. You're just going to roll your stat. And
So charisma.
Yeah, let me look. I want to look at your character though, in terms of. Yeah. I think. Are you doing this to sort of strengthen his resolve, or to legitimately call down like sort of the beneficence of the goddess? I don't know that it necessarily matters in terms of stats. I'm just curious what this looks like. Are you exhorting him through prayer and sort of like, it's a sort of obvious prayer of like, blessed be this great person who blah, 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 and, with their skill and wonder, because, you're really saying the prayer so that they hear these things that you're saying about them, so that they, or are you legitimately calling out to the goddess for assistance in this dark time?
I think it's more along the lines of, Hera grant us strength, so it's because we're so close to her object and where she is sending me. I feel it's more of a personal call than a general.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. That is fine. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is roll your charisma. So
Me?
What's that?
As a quick question.
Yes.
From behind my corner.
From your corner, yes.
Yes. Is it possible I could just sort of be standing watch from back there, just in case this thing starts acting really weird and I begin to think that
you're needed elsewhere?
Well, no. And it needs a couple of, fireballs in the middle of it. Is there a stand and watch sort of thing I could do there?
You can simply tell me you're ready. It's not like you need to ready an action or anything like that. You can simply say, I'm going to pull out a fireball globe, little bit.
No. That's a little overkill for right here.
For a small space.
Yeah, it's a little bit tricky in this particular situation, just because of where things go. So that roll was not good.
Don't worry, Torwin's here.
Ha ha ha. Ha ha. And I don't think we don't.
That's pretty hard to. Yes, I rolled a 6 with a +1. Okay.
That's okay. Hey, first of all, take XP. Yeah, it's a funny thing. I've looked at, and masks is exactly the same way. The maximum limit that you can have, and you can stack some pluses in masks, and the same thing is true here. But the absolute maximum you can add to a roll in masks is +4. So what that means is it is never entirely impossible to roll a 6.
Nice.
In masks, and that's even more true here. It's unlikely. It's not impossible. Hey, look at that XP go up for Tiana. Okay, so I can lash out in. All right, one moment while I grab the thing. Whoa, grab the thing I need to grab. I just want to make sure I've got this. So you have kind of turned. Are you? So you more behind? I would say you're. I got you on the map as sort of being in front of this thing, but you're sort of turned a little bit, at least, so you can, encompass.
Yeah, I would be towards the front.
Towards
whatever
the front,
it
but
is.
like turning somewhat towards Edwin, so you can. Edward, so you can, almost like lay hands on. Okay, so we're gonna go there, and we're gonna go. Where did I put that stuff? And here, and there we go. Is that it? Yeah, that's it.
Let's see how many dice we're going to roll to kill you.
Ooh, ow. All right, so that stings a little bit. All right, so the words of the goddess, as you cry out to the thing, and sort of a traditional.
Offended?
No, it has the strength. For a moment, almost, the song pauses. Not for long, but about 10 seconds. And Edward, you find yourself sort of limping along, like without anything to accompany for a few seconds. What do you do in that case? Do you keep going, or do you wait? Do you stop since it stopped?
I will try to bridge. I will try to.
Okay. All right. That's good. Roll me. Actually, roll me another charisma. This is going to be a charisma.
Who?
No, not charisma. Dexterity. Give me
Be dexterity.
yes,
Okay.
you dexterity. This is a defy danger as well.
0?
All right. No, that's good. That's all right. All right. So it pauses, and its face seems to sag in the way that you would recognize a face sagging in sorrow or in mourning, or which is kind of weird because it's kind of already in that stage, and it seems to take on even greater. The words kind of going out of my head in terms of what I want, but just that
Greater sorrow.
pathos, just great sorrow, just the weight of the world. You can feel it, honestly. As it listens to these words, I mean, were it not in the form that it is, you'd almost imagine you can see tears welling in its eyes. And then the face twists into like this sort of, I would say impotent rage, but it's not actually impotent rage. And its eyes actually focus, which is, you realize, terrifying. Because it hasn't done that until this point. It actually seems to see you, Tiana, and it shrieks and vomits forth some of the clear liquid within it.
Ew.
And it is freezingly gelid cold. That, luckily, at least.
And I will try and shield the others.
Roll raw. Thank you for saying that. I will accept that.
I will thank you too, since I'm the only other that's like in the immediate line of fire.
Edward was actually going to take a bit of a hit from this, but if you can make this, then that will happen. This is going to hurt a little bit. I won't lie.
So what kind of roll did you say you wanted?
You want? I was checking the stat. You want con because you're going to defend.
Okay.
All right. So give me
Con!
not that con. Whoa!
Woo-hoo!
Very nice. All right. When you when you stand the
historic
defense,
strength. Let's just.
now you were already going to get hit. So some of these options aren't necessarily going to be on the table because you were already going to get hit as a result of failing the
Your
previous
bad praying.
roll, the bad praying, because you angered in the first place. However, when you stand in defense of a person, item, or location under attack, roll con. On a 10 plus, hold 3. Spend them 1 for 1 to choose an option. Redirect an attack from the thing you defend to yourself. So Edward won't take any damage.
Okay.
Have the attack's effect or damage. You can do that to his damage that you intercepted, which effectively is going to make it basically nil. Open up the attacker to an ally. Aha! Okay, if you don't mind, I would like to dictate that you take the first 3 because I know exactly what that's going to look like.
I think they sound great.
Yes.
So while his attention is centered on me, and he's throwing his plasma at me, that gives Edward the opening to.
All right, that's that and there.
Drive home his psychic.
That hurt. It still really, really hurts though. That really hurts.
Okay,
so that's 13 damage from the liquid stuff. Now that was to you, and then when you realize, so it's starting to like basically sweep across the hallway. You're taking it, and it's seeping in through what? Okay, you don't take 13 though. You only take 10 because you've got armor, and this does not ignore armor.
Right.
So you only take 10. You only take 10. 10
this time.
Only.
Yeah. bully for you. So you're taking that. It's just that it's like every horrible bit of cold that you've been trying to defend yourself against since you came to this damn land, all in one thing, and also gross.
Kind of like that freezing gel stuff we've been seeing before.
Exactly, and literally exactly that.
Okay.
Yes, and it's getting along like in the seams along the side of your, because it came at you from the side, so along your left arm thing. And the thing is, as you're seeing that it's coming across the hallway and how bad it is, and Edward's basically right in the, you raise up your shield and step into the middle of the hallway and present that shield and get it up there ahead of that.
Right.
And which intercepts the stream from Edward. So Edward, you can thank her for that, because you'd be taking half of this. And in addition to that, its eyes settle on the symbol of the goddess
emblem
on the shield, and it recoils and almost seemed to go comatose, not comatose, but into almost like back into its vegetative state in just shock. It shocks and recoils, and then after about 10 seconds of just almost trembling, like shock horror, you catch just the faintest hint of that of its song starting up. But Edward, when it started up almost instinctively on the notes that you had kept going, so it joins you. So you get a +1 forward from you get the +1 forward
Yes.
from her thing. So you can do your charisma. Now I really will feel bad if you roll a 4. You get a +1 forward to that. So you roll now your magical music rolling charisma, but taking a +1 on the roll.
And do I take anything from the blocking of
No, you don't.
Edward's stuff, or just the 10?
Just the 10.
Just the 10?
Just the 10. Quote, air quotes, just the 10. So
Magic
Edward,
mojo be with me.
Let's just say if anyone was going to take it, it's me.
whoa! Holy crap! That's a
+1.
That is a 15. Okay. So even with me sort of mentally,
I think it worked.
yeah,
Double sixes.
that
Look
is
at that.
literally as good as you could possibly do on this. Even with me sort of mentally dinging you, you're still over a 12 for mentally dinging you for not using the organ. All right.
Organ.
So, Dave, what's that? What'd you say? What that?
I'm sorry?
I mean, I don't.
Organ.
I'll say that. That's cute. All right. So you play this for about 20 seconds, infusing it really with the power that you have in music and your, sort of mystic ability. That's sort of the power that you've learned to infuse this stuff. And after about 10, 15 seconds, the creature seems to fall asleep. It stops singing and actually collapses. It sags. Its whole body seeming to like drag downward and splay out and sink somewhat down the hole in the floor and that sort of thing, creating probably about a 4 or 5 foot gap in the doorway. Now, it's not perfect, but and it won't last for long probably.
And around to where the
But if you can, it's going to be probably you could try to get to and I'll give whoever does this a +1 forward because this thing is so damn dead to the world. But I'm gonna say it's definitely a defy danger, and I think it's probably Dex. Does that seem to make sense for sort of a climbing? So, because here's the thing, you're getting through the body, but you're also trying as much as possible not to crush. I mean, there's so many, it's almost impossible. It is basically impossible not to, but trying to crush as few of those globes as possible as you go. But, Tiana, should you feel, I mean, if this is your moment to try to get to that damn book without
I'll do it.
No.
No.
That gives me a plus.
Corwin, yes.
There we go. That gives me a plus.
What gives you a plus?
Oh, preventing Corwin from doing it by leading into combat.
I think.
Maybe not.
No, I'm just okay. I think it's a dexterity check, which is not great for Tiana.
I'm hoping that the shield will add some
But
additional.
Corwin, yes.
Well, the problem isn't the shield. The problem is literally your feet.
And do I have a really good idea of where on the altar?
Oh, you can.
It's just the book.
You can
nothing
see
else?
it. You want the book. Is what it boils down to. And you get a +1 forward. Does anybody want to do anything? I mean, now, as much as you know that you want this thing, you are not the best person to go and get it. And you have someone who is better than that for going and getting it. Close to hand and a long time, like, brother in arms.
God damn it.
Oh, dang it. All right. Well, all right. Hang on. Well, we're going to wait until they can hear it because.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Can you hear me?
I heard both of you just there.
I just heard you.
Okay, all right. So what I was saying was, this is definitely the thing that you need, Margie, or Tiana. But while you can certainly go and get it, and there's a +1 forward for whoever does, you're not the best person to maybe do this particular bit, and you brought somebody, a long-time compatriot on the battlefield, who is really well suited for this kind of thing, at which point in time you missed Bill probably saying, God damn it. Because really, Basler's your guy for this.
Yeah.
It's
or maybe Ash's little raccoon.
If you don't mind, I mean, I'm going to steal this from the movie, but basically this thing looks like the gold book from the Mummy, not the black one, but the gold one.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of looks like that. And I'm saying that because it gives you a gold book-shaped piece of ammunition for Basler.
Oh.
Why?
As a leader, I have to take that over my own pride of being the one to recover it.
Sending Basler?
Yes.
All right.
And let's do it in a way that he hates terribly.
Which is what?
Oh, I'm asking him to go get it, but I'm asking him to give it to me.
Oh.
See, by this point, I'm looking around the corner and be like, I know it's dead. Everything here is dead already. I'm just asking, is it motionless?
It is.
It is in fact motionless.
It is motionless in the sense of a thing that is deeply, deeply asleep.
Is this something where I'm continuing to play, by
Yes.
the way? Or
Yes.
okay.
Yeah,
Go to sleep, little monster. Sleep, sleep, little monster.
Hey, that raises a thought, by the way.
Uh-huh.
Presumably the people who were down here who slept in those like alcoves and whatnot, back in the places we were, they didn't turn to stone.
Well, it only turns wood to stone. Or what were you saying? Oh, the wood in the other areas?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not stone. The wood down here didn't seem to shift.
All right.
So that's an interesting thing. So Basler, for this is a dexterity check, and you have a +1 forward because of the awesome roll that Dave pulled off on his thing. So What do you do?
Okay, so basically the challenge is get the book without disturbing the orbs. That's what I heard.
As much as possible, yes. You want to disturb a sphere. Now, your rather cold-blooded assessment of this is that it isn't a question of whether or not you can get in and out without destroying any orbs. It's orbs. It's a question of how few are going to break, because some are going to break. There's just too many for there not to be. It's not like there's a layer of them on the floor. It's like there's 2 layers of them on the floor, one on top of the other.
So you can't just sort of slide across them and.
Yeah, and the body is.
Plus you can climb along the wall. Is there wainscoting? Is there a chandelier?
Well, what do we have on the other side?
An altar.
So so what you have, and I'm assuming this assessment is all happening very quickly because I like the little thing there, the little song lyric. It's lovely.
Thank you.
What we have over here is right on the back wall here. You can kind of see it shadowed inside of the goop. The altar. On the altar is the bowl, and kind of from the painting, a big golden book that was also in the painting, and carved on that wall is the big skeleton that's sort of looming over and reaching out in a sort of enveloping, reaching forward kind of motion. Up the wall and kind of leaning up and forward. So you kind of have hanging over the altar the skeleton skull, jaw, eye sockets, things of that nature, and the arms, although the arms are off to the side, so they're not necessarily immediately useful. The walls themselves are basically smooth stone. There isn't a lot of other adornment because that skeleton sort of handles most of the adornment as far as that goes. It's hard to make out a lot of details because there is still 30-foot ceilings, giant carved skeleton. The altar's about waist high. 2 golden goblets, big book, and that's kind of stuff. That's kind of it.
And I probably can't get, say, a rope around that altar such that I could clamber over that.
Not around the altar. Well, the altar's certainly not taut enough. You might be able to get like a grappling. You might be able to get like a grappling hook up to like an eye socket or something. But the thing is, the body is still kind of in the way because it's as it sags. You realize that body actually goes up into the hole that's in the ceiling also.
Mm-hmm.
So it's up above and it's sort of sagging down out of that, like sand kind of falling through an hourglass, and also sagging down through the hole in the bottom. So it's not a clear shot by any stretch of the imagination to really. You might be able to get there. Let me put it this way: you could maybe get into the room about halfway and then do that to kind of pull yourself further.
Okay.
I would give you sort of a.
Would you need someone to hold the other end of the rope so you could like clamber along it?
Yeah, basically.
I tell you what, why don't we, if you're going to assess this thing, let's have you is it Rita Sitch? No, it's not Rita Sitch.
I'm surveying a dangerous area, which is for some reason a dex roll for me, but there's also discern realities, which could be it.
Well, let me see surveying a dangerous area. Where is that? That's one of your guys?
Yeah, it's trap. It's basically trap expert. It's trap centric, but there's what else is hidden here.
Oh, sure. Yeah, and it gives you better. Trap hidden here. What activates it? What trap doing? That's. I don't know that that's going to pay off for you as well as the just the discern realities in this particular case. Partly because discern realities will give you a +1 forward on what you need. Hello, okay. Small hobbit. What do you need? You need your music? Okay. Hang on just 1 second. Wisdom though. What's your wisdom, Basler?
Wisdom is -1. I thought spell lore is based on hidden wisdom. Yeah. So wisdom is terrible.
Wisdom is terrible.
I'm happy still rolling it. I'm just saying it's terrible.
It is terrible. That's true. Roll it, but you can take well, let's put it this way. You can. I don't want to rob you of the +1 forward on the other thing.
It's +1 forward on the activity that I'm actually doing, so that bonus will just happen at that time.
Right, let me look at something here. Somebody was saying it. Can I?
Can I help?
Helping, yeah. Edward's still playing. Torwin, you can help with strength.
Yes, absolutely.
Why don't you? So just roll me a strength check, Torwin.
Oh wait,
That's damage.
yeah, that was wrong. Sorry.
Okay, so I'm bleeding now, but you did really good.
You can
Got the
do
knife
this.
right in there.
Oh God, my arm just went numb. I can't climb. That's okay. I'll throw
I
you
him on
across.
the back really hard. Oh.
Okay, so give me. So here's what I'm gonna have you do. Roll the dex check. Take a. Oh God. So between the +1 forward and the helping, you have a total of your dex check +2.
I can still fuck this up, I assure you. Just watch.
I'm just saying. I mean,
Hold my beer.
But instead, another freaking 14, which goes up yet further to a 16, which is just obscene. Okay. That's just absolutely crazy obscene. Although I will note that given all those bonuses, a 6 was still possible. So you get out there about 3 or 4 steps, but basically moving straight sideways along the wall with a kind of the check off or remove an adventuring gear for the grappling hook and the rope or whatever.
Okay.
So you get out there that far, trying as much as you can to avoid. And there's some glass grinding, you're not sure breaking kind of stuff going on. And then you go for the eye socket with the grappling hook of the skull. And because you're out far enough away from the stuff sagging down the wall. And it's been about 10 seconds. Edward's playing as powerfully as he can. And you throw the hook. It's a perfect throw through the eye socket. You hook the eye ridge there, pulling it back. And then you kind of throw the rest of the rope back to Torwin, who then grabs it and just basically walks himself back to this corner here. I'm going to ping the map. And braces his feet and just basically leans himself backwards at about a 45 or 40 degree angle off the floor, keeping it as taut as he can back along that wall, which gives you a straight, not a tightrope, but certainly something you can like kind of leg up on and give yourself a little end over end to get over to the altar.
Okay.
Because
I am absolutely terrified of breaking these things.
Two.
I'm letting you know.
And it takes a little bit more time doing it this way, but you are definitely avoiding a lot of the stuff on the floor. You're not sure if you've gotten, and Tiana, I'll tell you for nothing that he's broken at least a few of them because the liquid out of them is actually doing that rain on the windshield kind of thing out of the area and kind of down the floor, along the floor and headed back along the hallway this way. It's ignoring you guys entirely, which is good.
I'm sorry, you're gonna have to repeat that
Sorry.
for Margie. She had just stepped away for a moment.
He hasn't broken many, but you can tell he's broken at least a couple of the globes because you can see the liquid doing that sort of rain on the windshield, kind of crawling along the floor. The good news, question mark, is that it's ignoring you guys entirely, the stuff is, and seeping along the floor this direction. And away from you guys. Tiana, what do you do? Do you do anything about that or no?
I'm sorry. Where is it going?
It's going back along the hallway, back down the way you came.
And I assume that's not downhill.
No. It's perfectly level and definitely moving with a mind of its own. Much in the same way that the stuff up in the cabin did, except it's not coming after you guys in any way, shape, or form.
Maybe because we didn't take it from the cuckoo clock.
There's actually a good reason for it, and it's not that. Although I do like you blaming Edward. I think that's a good move. Meanwhile, Basler is hand over handing across the room until he can lower himself basically on. Now there's still a few globes even kind of resting up on the altar, but he's able to kind of move them aside as much as he can. For all that the body seems to contain the globes, it doesn't seem to provide them a hell of a lot of like cushion or any kind of resistance to dropping.
This is terrible monster design.
But so you get the book up and kind of like, I guess, shove it in your backpack, which has a couple of straps you can release to, quickly grab treasure and toss it inside. And then back up on the rope and working your way back the other direction. Those are two, man. A 12 from Tiana, a 14 from Edward, a 12 from Torwin, and a 14 from Basler. That is astonishing.
Best dice you're going to see in this game of all time. So just
I'm glad I could lead it off with a 6.
Yeah. At least you took.
second one for the
Says
team.
of cheating.
Thanks for taking that karma hit.
You're making me feel really good, at least that I got to hurt somebody really bad right there at the beginning.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
So probably, and as he's coming back, Edward, you can say how you say, because you're still sort of singing along and playing the thing. You can feel your hold on this thing slipping. It's not going to last for...
I say you'd better hurry, Basler. Oh.
This thing will wake up and smother you. So Basler's coming back. Tiana, do you know anything about the stuff crawling away from you or no? Entirely up to you. I'm just asking.
If she doesn't, I want to.
All right, Ash, what are you doing with the stuff that's crawling away?
So you're saying it's crawling down the hallway, down this way.
If you follow it, well,
yeah, let's follow it for right now, and I'm just going to be like,
all right.
This is probably the best thing that's ever been done here. Is I'm just going to be like, hey, Torwin, here are some bandages for whenever Basler winds up scarred for life. I'm going to go down the hallway and make sure this ooze isn't doing anything horrible.
Too late.
So, Ash, it comes back here, and it moves remarkably quickly, disturbingly quickly, really, and comes up to one of these doors that you've noticed in a couple of different places. All the ones that are marked with the sort of the
Star?
well,
Sun?
think of it more like a
Gear.
a steering wheel on a boat, because every one of them has got like a big spinning wheel kind of thing to release the door, like a vault wheel, and they're closed. So the stuff is up against the door.
Is it airtight?
It appears to be at least initially it appears to be creepy soul goo type, because the stuff is like kind of pushing itself up against the cracks of the door and not getting through, at least not significantly getting through. And although that's not stopping it from trying, but it's continuing to work on that, like work at the cracks and try to get in there. That is what it is doing. Basler, you are down.
Well, it makes me really curious as to what's behind that door.
You are down the rope, but from where you are, like down towards the end there, you do kind of have to step in this thing just a little bit to kind of get, because the rope hits the corner and the thing is still there. But as much as you are capable of doing so, you again, it's like walking on broken glass almost. It's like already broken kind of thing. But you get through with, you're willing to say, even pessimistic you is willing to say, the minimum amount of collateral damage. Did you grab either one of the goblets while you're there? They are gold and jeweled.
I'm going to say self-preservation overrode greed on this particular instance.
It's always interesting to see how that balances out for him. All right, so you get back in there. A couple more crack, and again the fluid goes seeping off down the floor. One of the bundles of goo. Let me see. I'll do the math a little bit here. Let's be. there's like three or four distinct bodies of goo. One of them is working, like quickly turns and goes up towards this door and starts working on it. One more adds itself to the door that Ash is down, and another one, Ash, goes past you towards this door down here, and is working at that door. Or sorry, I just went to two more go past there down to this door. So you've got 3 on this door, 2 on this door, and 1 up at this door right there. Yes, all the little orange bits are accurate. After about
Amber, please.
barely a minute, the hold that Edward has exerted over this thing seems to slip, and it sort of rouses it. Well, it rejoins the song, I guess I should say. And partly because, I mean, you could, honestly, Edward, you could feel it slip every time you kind of heard a glass break. I mean, the broken shards of glass in its body does not help it snooze. Not that that's any great thing. And honestly, compared to how bad it could have been, the amount of damage here is practically minuscule in terms of what's been the globes that have been broken or anything like that. It was could have been much worse.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, especially if we didn't have those awesome rolls.
Yeah. Honestly, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. The dice were definitely with you. What maximum result? I love it. Golden Book and Indiana Jones. Lovely pictures. Perfect. Okay, so Basler, what do? You're out of the thing. The thing's rousing itself. I guess stepping quickly away from it seems like a good idea. It doesn't seem to be taking much more notice of you.
Not noticing that the book's gone?
No. That was never
Sweet.
That was never its purpose.
I'm going to continue with my original plan, which was to try to maybe communicate more directly with this thing instead of kind of, putting it to sleep. I'd really like to see if I can get it talking. Because
why?
I don't know.
Why?
I mean, the problem is I don't know if there's really a mind there to connect with.
Okay, well, if I have that sense, then maybe I will back down the corridor some.
Yeah.
Watching carefully to make sure it isn't kind of oozing after me after the music, and
barely functional,
start to taper off.
Barely functional trauma victim with just a few snippets of memory. Enough to react with sadness and rage at a prayer to the goddess, enough to recoil from the holy symbol. Blah, blah, blah.
So I think this is when Ash calls from in the helmet. Guys, I think it's trying to escape.
Let it.
Ash, while you're
Ash,
while you're watching, the goop it's definitely found a way in. Because it's starting to, either it's evaporating really quickly or it's found a way through the cracks in the door. And you're guessing it's probably that second one. Because the stuff starts to make its way under, through, behind, into whatever area is in there. That is also happening in other places.
We should be able to notice that it's happening over here at next to door 20.
That is true. It is starting to get through that door as well. So.
Over here too.
So
should we stop it?
We should go after it.
How?
You didn't have a lot of luck attacking this kind of thing before.
Or why, for that matter?
Opening up the door, see where it's going. It could be important.
I hate to agree with Torwin. I really, really do.
Woohoo!
Flawless victory. Sort of. I'll say.
Well, I guess my question is, do I feel like I'm done here?
Well, I mean, the book contains the answer.
Irritate it some more.
The book contains the answers. So, and in the time that's passed, hang on, gotta move this. I'll move this down a little bit here so I can get to this one, because in the time that's passed here,
4 skulls remain.
4 skulls remain. So Torwin, what do you do? Tiana, do you get the fish the book out of Basler's pack? Because that's where your answers are at, as much as are possible.
I'm happy to deliver this book to whoever wants it.
Okay.
This thing is cursed. It's going to kill whoever reads it.
Do you need somebody to read it?
Hey, Ash, we're checking out where it's oozing through this door up here.
Okay.
I call down the hall.
Torwin, it's probably just spin the wheel and push is all you need to open it up.
Sweet.
Right. So, is that what you're doing?
Yes.
All right. All right. So this is it's not exactly a catacomb. It's, hang on. I mean, it is, but not in the way that it is. Let me just open up the first bit here.
I really hope the orange goo isn't oozing into skeletons.
And populating them.
Skeletons are probably the least worrisome thing this thing could be oozing into.
Yeah.
Do you want to fight a skeleton army?
Do you want
Better
ants?
than giant golem army.
Do you want ants? Because that's how you get ants. Okay, so this is. It would be kind of a catacomb, except for whatever reason, these particular bodies are mummified and mounted freestanding. So while it may be a catacomb, it really looks more like a strange museum for dead children.
Ew.
Rows and rows of wrapped and desiccated bodies, anywhere from infants and toddlers up to preteens. Each one standing up on individual plinths, all of them facing south. So down towards the direction you guys came from. So imagine dead zombified children in sort of like terracotta warrior sort of positions. And if you want a sense of scale, although, I mean, depends on what you're doing, but for the sake of expedience, I will simply say, for your sense of scale, there's a lot of it.
Oh.
A lot.
There's stuff.
And they seem to be intact?
Yeah, as much as they're mummified and mounted, kind of.
Are they in aggressive positions or just
standing?
in sort of standing and waiting positions?
Standing and waiting.
Where is the goo going?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. Give me a defy danger intelligence.
Oh, can I?
Hit him where it hurts. I'm tired of these high rolls. What? A 10? You did lose sight of it, but you had the general direction where you thought it was going to go, and find. Well, wait, that's. I don't want me to click on that. Hang on. Who put that orange dot there? It is. Put it here. And you follow it kind of where it was going, and actually see as it seeps into the body, up into the body of one of these. Of one of these bots.
You had to say it, Tor.
Oh, that's not a good sound.
And the body starts kind of like just limbering itself up as the soul juice squirms up into it.
Are you saying we should close the door and lock it?
Well, I don't know that the problem is there's a wheel on both sides.
Oh, I don't think that's a problem for Bessler.
You might be able to rig something up. Certainly, you could tie the wheel on one side and tie it off to stuff and whatnot. But
Man, at first I felt like Robin Williams chasing Flubber, but now this just isn't cool.
Hey, Doris, I've got 3 uses of adventuring gear left. One of those is an oxyacetylene torch.
is it now?
We're gonna fix
Flamethrower.
this.
Flamethrower.
How convenient.
Actually, I might be able to rig that together.
Yeah, given time, certainly. Torwin, what do you do? Because it's moving now.
I attack it.
Oh, okay. Ah! All right. Well, in that case, give me a hack and slash because this thing is like as soon as it really sees the living, it's I like the. Did you give me a terracotta army picture, Dave?
Maybe.
It's a terracotta.
Cool. Yeah. Oh yeah. I like it. That's almost exactly right.
Except for up above everybody instead of down below everybody.
Yeah. Just imagine the ceiling there.
So what would that be? Strength?
Yeah. Hack and slash is a strength. It is a basic thing there.
I'm sorry, Torwin, what are you doing?
He is attacking the animated zombie.
Teenager?
When you attack an enemy in melee, roll strength. On a 10 plus, you deal your damage to the enemy and avoid their attack. At your option, you may choose to do an extra d6 damage, but expose yourself to the enemy's attack. On 7-9, you deal your damage. The enemy may makes an attack against you.
Holy
And
crap.
also, I have a move where when I hack and slash an enemy, when I next attack it, or my next attack against it gets plus 1d4 damage.
When you confront a worthy foe, roll strength on 10 plus hold. Is that what you're talking about? Battle instincts? Or scent
No.
of blood?
What's? No, it's Scent of Blood. It's my new move.
All right. Scent of blood. Okay, I'm going to move this a little bit so I can read it.
Next time, warn me, Torwin, so I can give a stirring speech, because...
When you hack and slash an enemy, your next attack against that same foe deals plus 1d4 damage. All right, your damage is you can roll your damage. It's a d10 up there at the top. Feel free to do that. Rolls a 5 on damage. Thank you. And where? Hey, I found it. It's going into a body. Okay, I'm gonna kill it. I'm killing it. And you hear like, fighting going on up in the area there.
I race forward to either help Torwin or ball him out, depending
For
on what I
glory!
find.
For glory. There's a moment of hesitation there that you will later chastise yourself for, where it kind of leaps forward and bites you. I wasn't really expecting it to bite you. That doesn't seem very heroic. But it doesn't even really break the skin because it gets like on your arm, and it's like a really bad pinch, like through all the other stuff. So you're gonna have bruising because you only take 1 point of damage after the armor takes some of the damage, and you kind of shove it back with your arm and just and take it out because it was just. I mean, it's not a full grown like thing.
Is the stuff leaving the body and moving elsewhere?
Take that demon goo child thing!
You don't see it immediately leave the body, no. Although it doesn't leave, but the body's not doing anything, so that's maybe a good thing? Question mark? Good question.
Let's perhaps try a different area of the underground to look at now, Torwin. I'm sure there's much more interesting things back along the hallway.
There's a big thing, and there are stairs.
You can't see the stairs from there.
I'm sure there's stairs.
I can if I try.
And the thing I think is from the room we were in.
Is that the thing oozing in?
What? The
Yes.
thing?
No.
What?
The thing at the bottom of the picture.
Oh, that's sort of the picture of the bad thing.
Yeah.
Of the other thing, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's just sort of it's an added illustration for the whatchamajigger, for the thing that you guys just dealt with.
So it's not actually there. It's still back in.
It's just a picture to say, here's a zoom in on the horrible thing that you're looking at.
Got it.
So Torwin, we I think we need to follow the other goo and see, if maybe the others need protecting against wherever it goes.
But this goo might escape.
Doesn't look like it's going anywhere right now.
So Ash, were
We'll
you
lock the door.
Torwin, did I just hear a scream?
Yes, it was me.
Is Ash need help?
Did we fall down a well?
Very nice.
I count that as a lie that he believes.
Who just said that?
Me.
All right.
There's like, where did Ash go? What?
Ash was.
Oh my God! It ate him.
There's a lot of orange goo over here.
Did Torwin run past Ash looking for him?
Yes.
That's excellent.
So is there no goo over by this other door here?
By the eyeballs?
No, none went in there. None went toward that door.
Or in the tattoo parlor?
No, there weren't any bodies in there.
Oh.
What do you take me for? There weren't any bodies in there.
I go charging into the next room.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah.
Spin the door open.
Yes. We're all running at high speed after Torwin.
I have long legs.
Yeah. All right.
Where's Basler?
What an interesting question you ask.
Well,
I did my job.
there's clearly magic shenanigans going on here. And on the one hand, I'm tempted to just run away from these fools who are about to die as they charge into the attack.
There's nowhere that you know to explore to get out.
Exactly. So I'm kind of stuck with you guys.
Unfortunately.
What can we do in the other room?
Hang on. Oh, there we go. That'll work.
So what do we got here?
Torwin.
Yes.
Actually, Joyce.
Yes.
If I have managed to keep up with Torwin as he is working the door, I want to give him a stirring speech.
All right. What is that a move?
Torwin, whatever happens in that room, we're all counting on you to protect us.
All
and
right.
that would be an official stirring speech power.
Okay. Tell me what that says, because I am.
Stirring speech before a conflict, which is why I had to do it before he gets the door open, as opposed to like when you already run into combat. So it's on 7 and 9, choose 1, 10 plus, choose 2 of the on the effects. In fact, I say that to all of you in case there's a massive combat in this room. We're all counting on each other.
Is there a roll that you need to make, or is it just
yes,
happen?
charisma roll.
All right, let's see that roll. What do you got? Rolls a 10.
So I get,
rolls a 10.
Yes, I get to choose 2 of the effects.
Choose 2 from my allies take +2 armor forward, which is nice.
Yeah, +2 armor forward.
+1d4 damage, or +1 ongoing against fear until the conflict ends.
It was not a fear thing this last time, so I'm going to take the chance that it won't be this time and go with the
armor and damage.
1d4 damage forward. Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. All right. Thank you. Well done. Everybody note that they have functionally 2 more points of armor. I don't +2 armor. It does say +2 armor. So in the case of Tiana, that's very good for her. All right. if you guys will just give me 1 second to pause, my daughter, who came in to have me do something with her about 10 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago, has now fallen asleep in my armchair. I'm going to carry her back to bed real quick. I'll be right back. Oh, you're so cute. That right there is a child raised right, because the reason that she came in here to get me was because she was tired of listening to the Frozen. Keep in mind, she's 3, almost 4. She was tired of listening to the Frozen soundtrack and wanted me to switch it over to Batman Brave and the Bold Music Meister episode soundtrack. Hell yes. You get to stay in the will. All right, so Torwin, what are you doing when you open a door? You just go charging in, or what do you do?
Is there another way to do it?
I think that pretty much answers the question right there. I like that.
Now for another round of desecrating the dead.
Is there another thing to do other than charging in? All righty. Let me look at. You know what? I think this is kind of. So, Torwin, you see. Let me just. I gotta switch. The problem with this is so many pointers to switch through here. You see an armored figure approaching. Well, and I'm just going to reveal. Hang on. Yeah, I won't do it like that. Oops. Pink. Click. Like that. What do you do? It's got a weapon. It's got some old rotten armor on. It sees you and.
That's big. Woohoo!
Of course he's pleased about that.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
Is that revived by the orange goo?
Good question.
/ count as the same enemy?
Does he see? He's absolutely approaching as though to attack. So take.
No, I mean, I want to know if I get my plus 1d4 for the other thing.
Oh no, it's not the same entity. No, but you do get a bonus to damage anyway because Dave gave you or Edward gave you that buff. So you've got that for this thing going on here anyway. So there, you got that going for you.
Yeah.
What do you do?
I attack it.
Okay. So Torwin's like, yes, more of them.
It's big.
Okay, give me your hack and slash roll there. And who's behind him most closely? Ash? I'm not sure because there's so many people trying to keep him.
That was not what I meant. Come on.
I hate toys. Go fish.
Go fish.
I like.
Okay, you
I
rolled.
like the first roll better.
You rolled damage. You rolled some whoop. How did you do that? Oh, you just rolled. Is that what you get for rolling the damage? Oh, yeah. It automatically adds the strength bonus. Okay, I see. Well, you rolled wicked damage, and you know, an okay hit roll. That's not terrible. Okay, so
Is it a worthy opponent?
well, find out here in a second. I'm gonna pick on Ash. Ash.
Yeah.
So as he goes barreling up here to attack this dude.
Am I getting dragged along with?
No, I just have you at the doorway, kind of observing. What you see, and probably even back a little bit. As soon as he goes rushing to your left and up and saying there's more of them, you see this guy going in behind him.
Oh,
And so you take a little bit of a step forward to kind of get a better look at the area with your little glowing staff. And the situation seems to be a little bit more complicated than Torwin may have originally assumed. Torwin does a absolutely astounding amount of damage to the thing. Just crushes right down through its skull, right down through its body. It goes over kind of holding a sword, and he kind of puts his foot on his chest, pulls it out, like turns around like, yes! And like halfway through the yes is like sees these other guys like, oh crap. One of them slashes at him with what looks like a khopesh or something.
Of course, yeah.
Of course. Big, heavy scimitar. And
So since I saw them like coming up behind Torwin, can I move to intercept?
Torwin, with the armor bonus, you're going to take 2 points of damage from that. Please adjust accordingly. After the armor takes off, so please adjust your hit points accordingly. And Ash, what did you say? Say again.
Oh, I was going to say, since I saw these guys kind of coming up on Torwin, can I move to intercept?
You can certainly like sort of pull this guy and, well, what do you do to him to intercept? I guess that's more of the question. What does that look like?
Basically, I am looking to more Harry than anything. In this case, it's more like, you know.
Ooh, look at me! Look at me!
Yeah, I don't think I'm actually going to hurt these things, but at the very least, I can make sure they're not going to like claw into Torwin's back and probably like batter one with my staff and try to like, you know, just basically keep them back a little bit. Like maybe even just fire off a few shots from the staff just to be like, you know, let's see how much self-preservation these things have.
When you say fire off 2 shots from the staff, what does that look like? We haven't gotten to the staff, so I don't know what it can do.
So it is an alchemical
Thingy bob.
Propulsion rod.
Ash's staff, alchemic propulsion rod. Look at that. Near, piercing to, it's pretty close for near. But you might be able, sure, I mean, you can give it a little shot. Basically, you can let it go past and give it a shot.
Basically, rather than volley here, I more want to defend.
Okay, we can do that.
If Ash moves out of the doorway enough for Tiana to,
well, honestly, you're mostly trying to pull him up. So yes, let's do that defend roll. Defend. When you hold defense of a person, item, or location you take, roll con. Interesting. So let's see a con roll there.
There we go.
Man, you guys with your dice, you're killing me. Or rather, everything.
That's the idea.
Or rather, everything else. Okay, rolled an 11. Hold 3, probably. Choose an option.
Yeah, I'm going to hold 3 there.
Choose an attack from the thing. Redirect an attack from the thing you defend to yourself. Have the attack's effect or damage. Open up an attacker to an ally, giving that ally +1 forward against the attacker. Deal damage to the attacker equal to your level. You get 3 of those. What do you want?
Well, right now I'm going to hold 3.
Well, okay. I mean, It's going to attack Torwin, so you're defending that attack. How do you want that? What do you want that?
Oh,
As long as you
okay.
stand
So
defense,
if
when
it's
you
going to go attack Torwin right now, then I will spend 1 to have the attacks damage.
have the attacks, okay, all right. Dueling
Because I imagine with all the armor bonuses, that's probably going to make the thing nothing.
roll. Well, it would have to be a pretty good roll to get even a point through with that. So let's just find out. Yeah. That's not going to do anything. All right. So yeah, it starts to move, and you can now. Do you want to do damage to it with this attack, or are you just like sort of like shooting
its attention.
shooting across the bow, so it
Yeah.
sort of flinches essentially?
I was about to say, yeah, I'll spend another hold to do damage to it.
Okay. All right.
So it'll take 3.
Oh, you just get to pick.
Well, no, it's deal damage to the attacker equal to your level.
Oh, look at that. Oh, well, there you go. I didn't even see that. All right, so 3 to that thing, and your thing is piercing, right? Like piercing 2.
Yes.
I'll give you credit for that. So it'll actually just do that damage. It's not enough. So you kind of get it on the temple, take out a chunk of its forehead. Doesn't seem to do any lasting damage to it, but well, it does damage to it. But what would have been a fatal blow for anything else, this thing sort of like hisses and turns. Now, if you want, Tiana, he's moved to the side. He's drawn the attention of this thing.
And I'm probably going to be like, Tiana!
Well, yeah. Tiana, what do you do? I like that.
I
have distracted it, Tiana.
I take it out. I don't know what else there is to do here. I was like,
all right, so you can rush into it. If you okay, so Tiana's moving in. Ash, if you want to, you can hand her off a +1 on this roll. +1 forward on it. Since it's focusing on you, it won't be ready for her.
Yeah,
sure.
Since Torwin stole the thunder, it's not like I'm rushing in, but
no, it's still a hack and slash because you're engaging with something that can hurt you back. So, but you're good. So basically, you roll strength, but you get to add an additional 1 to your roll because Ash is handing a +1 to you. Are you kidding me?
And
with a freaking 12? Sweet.
well, it is a +2.
Jiminy. I know, but still.
And don't forget to add 1d4.
Yeah, technically, so roll
damage.
your damage, but then also just type /roll space d4 for another d4. Holy cats on fire!
Remind me how to roll damage.
Right above your strength, there's actually a little damage thing, and just hit the dice next to it, and it'll do the strength addition. Oh, you're kidding me!
And then roll an additional d4.
/d4 /1
/roll
space d4. The way we did it in the old days. Okay, so that's an obscene. You just kill it. I mean, you just like smite it straight down to the floor. It wasn't even ready for that.
So, Doyce, are these mummified figures that are in armor? Are they monstery creatures, kind of like they look?
Again, no, they're mummified. I couldn't grab zombies. I had to kind of scramble to grab stuff. So what you're seeing here is not. It's a catacomb in a much more traditional way. What you
this is not the child's.
No, rows upon rows of mummified bodies in like sort of slots in the wall, 30 feet high, honeycomb, honeycomb with these little tunnels just honeycomb through with like these little 5-foot access tunnels and steps mortared into the brickwork. And then sort of the walls mortared with that strange ice, dust, all that kind of stuff. These particular ones are dressed, attired as warriors. And again, the area is, enormous. 1 second. I will give you a sense of scale. and it's just each one of these. You think about maybe, every one of those things that looks like a coffin is really like body stacked 6 deep. Attired in, not regalia, but, armor. Some of them armed. I mean, at rough estimate, hundreds of these just in this area. So, that one. I lost my little selector clicker. This one is smoten. This one is smoten.
Woohoo!
I'm gonna say Torwin, what do you do? Or Edward, what do you do? Edward, what do you do? Because you've just taken the major of the thing, and clearly this is sort of like a. I mean, if you had to guess, Warrior's Crypt.
Is anything else moving?
Yeah,
there is one more there immediately past.
Besides the one that's up on the.
No, none of the rest of them seem to be stirring.
Okay, so there was only
we're
enough.
not
Yet.
seeing any of the amber fluid moving to the next warrior or anything like that.
No, not at this point. They seem to be still, and the bodies. Well, honestly, these two had so much damage done to them. You're not sure even if they were animated, they could do a hell of a lot because they're. I mean, the one Tiana had is basically two matching halves.
Nice symmetry.
Beautiful.
I will simply, I think, probably sort of move around here just to kind of eyeball to make sure there's nothing else sneaking up on us.
Okay.
But I'm going to stay out of the combat since we seem to have good combatants to gang up on the one remaining critter.
Yeah, seem to have it well in hand.
And I've already given them my bonus, so
Yeah, you've done your Bardley duty.
Yep. I do have my sword drawn though, so.
Oh, yeah, seems best. Basler, what are you doing? While this is all going on.
Well, it sounds like they're beating up stuff really good, so I'm kind of hanging out here. But I am sort of curious if this stuff was native to this area or if this is just like something that snuck in here. This sort of animating vital principle. So this will sound, and this probably will go nowhere. I'm looking for anything that would contain this stuff or channel it or anything to evidence that these people knew what this stuff was and were making use of it.
Maybe something further. Maybe that creature further down the corridor could help.
The goop in the globe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that one.
Look, I found something that's containing the fluid.
So
see, I feel like it's my birthday. Thank you.
Torwin, what do you do? There is one that's still there. You realize with glee that there's still one more to hit.
I hit it.
All right. Why don't you give me a? What does this look like? What are you doing?
I turn and hack at it.
It's like, yes! What the? Whoa! Oh, that was a nice hit, Tiana. Oh, look, there's another one. It's like he's like Easter egg hunting.
Dibs!
It's like a 4-year-old Easter egg hunting. There's another one.
I got it.
Give me that hack and slash. Let me see your might. Are you kidding me? I didn't even get to hit you back. All right, roll the damage and then roll an additional D4 saying as though this thing's actually going to survive this. Are you kidding me? I rolled a 10 to hit. How much damage did you roll? 11. The 10 was actually kind of a bad roll.
Don't forget your
Plus
4.
D4. Don't forget your D4. Oh, only 1. Jeez, Torwin, can't you roll better?
Fight me.
You only killed it 150%. So, bad on you.
I look over at Edward as the carcass falls to the ground. What was that?
Well hit, Torwin.
Nothing. Basler, what do you do?
Okay, so there's this thing coming up the hall at me.
Yeah, it's shambling along. It's in like robes. It's not armored or anything. It doesn't even seem to be armed, although it does. You're sure that the teeth or the claws wouldn't feel particularly good on your delicate skin either. But
I just exfoliated last night,
Yeah, you really don't want
It wants to exfoliate you more.
No, that's exsanguinate.
to.
They're different.
Uh,
You guys, there's more out here.
In the hall?
yeah.
Come get some.
Bessler?
That looks like
And I'm gonna head north up the hall.
Tiana's.
You are much better equipped for this, Tiana. I'm sure of it.
Well, I will lead us all into battle.
Too late.
There
Bessler
you
gets
go.
out of the
Oh.
way.
Corwin, you would have to get past everybody else.
Yes, I do.
I'm sorry, which way are we going? Down?
Well, you see the one in the hallway there?
No.
Well, it's because Torwin's in the way. Right there.
I was closer.
Yeah, she
You
was
were
closer.
No, I was.
You were busy. You were busy.
You were
killing the
busy
other one.
hacking the last one over there. This one's mine.
Gloating over its carcass.
Maybe if you two fight over it.
It'll be confused and go away.
Yeah, Torwin or Tiana, go ahead and strength check me.
I'm
I'm just waiting
examining
for
the
one of
bodies.
you guys to roll bad. I don't know if it's ever going to happen, but I need you to crit fail so I can have one of them accidentally hit the pouch of purple lotus and cover the entire hallway in it or something. That's my only chance. Okay, so
Well, now we know who not to send into battle.
roll the d10 and then roll an additional d4 on the damage. This one's going to strike you back. It's like it leaps at you as you're leaping at it. It's clawing and teeth are going everywhere.
I do get to take a +1, or everyone else does. I'm not quite sure how to read that.
A plus.
Charge?
Oh, do you have a thing?
Charge. Yeah, it's my new one.
Oh, when you lead a charge into combat, those you lead take a +1 for it. Not you.
Okay, so everybody else.
Yeah, everyone else. Although I don't think it's going to really come to that, to be perfectly honest. And then roll the /d4. Jeez, like I need to worry about it. He's going to die. Oh, are you kidding me? I roll 1 point of damage. You got 5 armor. It ineffectually scrapes at your breastplate.
I think it tried to go for me, but then like got its fingernail caught on my shield with the face of the goddess.
I mean, it's almost rote for you. You just like, oh, here comes the good. Push it out of the way with the shield. Smash to the face. It completely wasn't ready for it, and it dies like a pig. These things are a lot more scary when there's 1,800 of them.
Thank you, Bessler, for not stepping on more vials.
I mean, the absolute, as a general rule, on a typical like just I basically succeed roll, there should be 20 or 25 of these things roaming around at this point in time. That gives you, if it gives you any kind of indication of how well things worked out for you. In
Good.
that particular
Yeah, like
scenario.
honestly, I would really like a way to drain this stuff off somewhere safe. Maybe is there like a cursed death sponge or something?
Maybe that's what the wailing noise, well would be for.
So,
Yeah.
all right. So I'm gonna go. Let me see. I gotta go back to where Edward was at. What are you doing in there? Are you just kind of poking around, Edward, or?
I am checking out these figures. I'm still worried about this liquid oozing out of them. But if there's anything else interesting or distinctive about them, I'm definitely. Do they look like they were human originally?
Yeah,
Okay.
all human. You would guess cult members that have been
Okay.
mummified and stored.
For future use.
Yeah, and possibly this use.
Freeze dried and kept fresh forever.
Yes.
Any religious symbols draped around their necks, pouches of purple lotus tied to their belts.
Oh, if you want to, yeah.
I'm searching the bodies, but trying to avoid getting any amber goo that might ooze out onto my hands.
Yeah. Well,
I'll make sure I have my gloves on.
down at
I took 11 points of damage searching the bodies.
no,
Okay.
when you're crouching down there, you get down to eye level at one of the other things, and you notice that one of them, you can't help but notice that one of them has a rather heavy-looking money pouch on its belt, and just kind of like, well, he's not going to use that. I mean, even if he's summoned back from the dead to fight the evil, he doesn't really need to buy brandy or anything. I do, on the other hand.
Absolutely, it's
So you can accumulate like 11 coin there, 11 silver. I think there's a place to note that on your character sheet. If not, do that.
I will figure out something.
The question, Tiana, here is, you've got now, you hear in the distance, in doing the internal countdown, 3 skulls remaining. Do you try and figure out the book here, or do you get the hell out of Dodge and then figure the book out? What do you think? Because you.
But there's whole places we haven't looked.
Yes. Sort of.
So
I'm going to give myself like 5 minutes.
Ash, glancing through these doors, just as a quick summary. I mean, if you're doing the math in your head, kind of glancing and seeing stairs that lead, in all cases, down into more of this stuff.
478 bodies.
No, nothing so small as that. You're guessing just. You're guessing just in the crypts area, just in down underground. Forget about the mass graves upstairs. And I mean, the children courses are hard because some of them are small, but you're looking. I mean, thousands, 2,000 or 3,000, just among the adult bodies. Maybe twice that, just in child corpses. Massive number. I mean, it's remarkable in the sense of, wow, there's a lot of people buried here. But when you think of like, oh yeah, all these could be walking around right now, it's not remarkable so much as horrifying. Tiana, this is not written in Duvan Ku. This is written in the language of your people. It is actually a sort of a relic. Like an old gold-plated holy book that somebody decided to use as a journal in the last 20 pages or so. And nobody makes drums in the deep jokes at this point. But they basically took the last like 20 or 30 pages of the manuscript and just wrote over what was in there with a heavy blacker ink so they could do it. So this is a holy book of your order that does not really exist anymore except for you, from the battles that took place 50 years ago. I'm going to have you roll your... And other people can help if you're so inclined. Let me think. It would be... Discern realities. Well, yeah.
The wisdom?
Yeah, it's a wisdom roll. Maybe not. Maybe not a gert roll.
Better than intelligence.
Yeah.
You really don't want me helping?
A 10. Oh my God, guys! Have some pity. All right.
Hey, the murder hobos have no pity.
We're using these questions somewhat liberally, somewhat loosely, but you get 3 of them off of the discern realities list there. Probably what happened here recently would make the most sense to start off with.
Yeah.
Okay. So, skimming the paper, you can get more detail later. Basically, the report indicates that they sent the troops up the mountain. They've hunted down these zealots, or these cult members, heretics, and actually accumulated some local worshippers of the gods in the process. So they came up the mountain with a relatively strong force, and found that the enemy was largely overwhelmed. They were fairly evenly matched, but the fight was, the members of the actual true members of the order, of them, there was only a dozen or 13.
So it's lopsided.
Yeah. What they found, though, once they ventured down into the shrine, is that the situation was much more sort of horrible than they had anticipated. Because what they found down here in the shrine was that somehow, through the use of arcane magics, what is referred to in here as a font of time, deep within the heart of the mountain, that this cult had somehow managed to make use of. They had somehow used that stuff and other alchemical processes to capture the souls of their own dead and store them in these glass globes, so on and so forth. And it was really only a matter of time. I mean, at any point, they managed to interrupt them before they were about ready to sort of release them all back into the bodies and raise, terrifying army of the dead. It was warded to prevent that from happening somewhat, but the wards had already been stripped away by the Devon coup, and getting ready to release these things sort of as a retributive nuke strike on their own location. So the members of the order that had been sent up here did what they felt was the only thing that they could do. 12 of them sacrificed themselves and embedded their own spirits into the. They took some of the frozen liquid time that they had found and used that to fashion the skulls, and then embedded their own spirits into it as a outer ward on the place. And the first among them, the first in their order, became, and this is interesting, the person's name, the leader's name is not noted, but what they call, what the notes say is it became, or he chose to become the, it's not a name as much as it is a title, the Melek Abathar, which is
the gooey thing.
It sounds like a name of an angel in your Melek, and then Abathar, Melek Abathar, which sounds, it's structured to be a name of an angel, but there isn't any name like that in the faith, in the goddess's faith. Rough translation would be the holder of souls or something like that, but it actually sacrificed itself to itself personally contain and hold dormant the spirits that were attempting to escape from their enclosures. We basically volunteering for an eternity of torture just to keep these souls all basically quiet.
Right. In the altar room.
In the altar room.
Yeah.
So that's really the first ward, and as long as it continues to live, it will continue to do that and basically keep these souls, because the way the stuff is put away, the souls really can't. They couldn't see any way to really release the souls properly. If they escape from the globes, they will go back to their bodies and animate. So they couldn't release them, which is what they would have preferred to have done, because there are literally thousands of them. So they chose this. Now,
and what happens when the last skull drops?
that was simply an outer ward. That was to make it. That gave the Melek Abathar the opportunity to occasionally rest for a few moments here and there. Once that ward is done, it won't be able to do that anymore.
So who wrote this down in the back of the book?
Say that again.
So who wrote this down in the back of the book?
They made note. They wrote this down as like, this is what we are about to do.
So we're killing the thing holding all of these souls because.
No, you're not killing it. It's just.
No, that's what we went around.
But weren't we the ones who triggered the ward system to start failing?
Well, yeah, but I mean that's not going to kill it. It's just going to mean that it doesn't have any release at any point, really.
Oh yeah, because hundreds of years down the line, the thing holding all these souls that will raise the dead not having any rest won't cause any sorts of problems.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's certainly something that it seems as though there's you might. I mean, this situation definitely deserves some additional something. So that's the question of sort of what has happened here recently. You've got some other questions there, Marjorie, if you want to poke around at the other potential situation.
Okay, so yeah, I do, but let me first finish this one up. So
Uh-huh.
there's not an immediate danger
No, unless you were
what's
to
going on now, except for us making sure we take care of any of the animated bodies.
right, which honestly you've done. There's no. I mean, they would have come after you anyway, and you'd know by now if they were coming, because they would have gotten to you by now. So
Okay.
they're so few of them were released. Again, kudos, ridiculous dice rolls. That what damage could have been done there has been done. Yeah, the only way the rest of them are getting out in the immediate future would be if you, I mean, went back and like chopped the thing's head off, which would be no mean feat. I mean, it's not exactly without its own defenses. It apparently can vomit forth the liquid time that it's like sort of suffused its body with, and that's not apparently good for living things.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Huh.
So, and so there you go. So does that wrap up that particular question? Did you have another one you wanted to?
No, I think that's good for that question. What
Mhm.
were my other choices?
So if you look at the under the handouts, kind of it's the second tab there, handouts, and then there's basic moves. You can click on that and blow it up to discern reality. So that's what's happened here. You can go to what is about to happen, but that's kind of what should I be on the lookout for? What here is useful or valuable to me? Who's really in control here?
So I think my next question would be kind of a take on the what's valuable or useful, which is there anything else here that I need to um, retrieve or learn?
Your quest, for all practical purposes, has been achieved. You know what happened to the order, and you can bring that news back to your priesthood. But honestly, the almost the geese like Gaius like I don't know how you pronounce that.
Gish.
Compulsion. The
Gish.
gish, like
Gish.
the compulsion upon you to find out what happened has eased. Now it's simply report that. And as far as connecting to the goddess goes, that can be done whenever. So you have what you would need. I mean, the ability, you can't really take home remains or anything of that nature from these things. The warriors
Right. I have the story, which is
Yeah.
what's most important.
The stuff in the crypts is they're all Duvanku. The mass graves up above are not Duvanku. In a weird way, as you guys already determined, Zeke already is doing a small bit to free some of them. Simply because the way they capture these souls in part is to remember their names but build them no monuments. He's building the monuments, and every time he gets one of those damn things planted in the ground, it gets loose. It's free, released again. But that's literally the work of lifetimes.
Okay.
In theory, you've got 18 books full of membership of the Divan Ku in that room to the. I'll ping it on the map here.
And I grabbed a bunch of them.
You grabbed a fair number of them, although they are fairly weighty. You can't grab a ton, but you grab those. Those are names. You could build monuments. That could theoretically, but again, work of lifetimes.
Does it have to be here? Do you think?
Not necessarily. No.
Okay, kind of like
as-
Mormons.
As long as it's documented and the reason for the names is noted, so you could theoretically do that back at your priesthood or something like that. So that may be what is
Maybe
useful
that will
about
be
it.
my next quest is to
Yeah, is to
recognize as many of these souls as we can.
yeah. Certainly, the book up in the cabin
Hmm.
would be. I mean, if you want to start with the ones that were innocent victims, that would be the place to start. These guys all the books down here are names of people who volunteered for the gig. So
Hard to say because Zeke's working on that already.
although you say
I
they
wouldn't want
volunteered,
to.
you say they volunteered for the gig, but at the same time you have a crypt here full of like almost 4,000 children. So yeah.
Is there any indication of the book? I mean, are they grouped by things like that, or are they just chronological?
The books in here are in chronological order, basically from volumes 1 through 18.
Okay.
Zeke's book is also basically chronological and goes back for bloody millennia. And some of those you may not be able to document because, I mean, how do you write that name down? But I mean, honestly, you could tear out the last 5 or 6 pages and hand them to him, and he'd still be busy until he died.
Okay.
All right, so that would be what's useful or valuable to me, I guess. What else you got?
Anybody have anything else they want to add to that?
We had what is about to happen. What should I be on the lookout for? Who is really in control here? What here is not what it appears to be.
I think we've answered a lot of those questions. I guess I don't know if anyone else has something better, but I was going to say, what do I need to worry about on the way out?
Okay, which is what do I need to be on the lookout for?
Yep.
You may have died. So the notes also mention the greater repugnances, which they were not strong enough as a group. And considering what they managed to pull off, basically using freaking spiritual duct tape and baling wire, it's impressive that they didn't think that they could do this, but they were not able to assail the safe places, what he calls the safe places of the greater repugnances. Carnithrex, Pontifex, Maximus, etc., and all those. They apparently lie in tombs deeper into the catacombs in their own individual tombs. And were all the spirits released, says one of the notes, we would not be able to stop. Honestly, only the power of Carnithrex could probably, bring them to heal, and the price for that would be far too great for any of us to pay, or far greater than any of us are willing to pay. So if you want to say, although, and there's some note there that they themselves are bound to this place due to their own betrayals, et cetera, and so forth, which I think you guys may have read about at one point. Like one of them betrayed the other, or there was some sort of inner fighting, that kind of thing. So what do you have to worry about here? There's probably some dead dudes down here that are both awake and ridiculously powerful, but can't get out. So
As long as we don't take any stairs down, we're okay.
yeah, or yeah, don't read the Latin in front of the open caskets or anything like that, or don't read from the big black book, Evie.
You mustn't read from the book.
You mustn't read from the book. So yeah, at this point in time, it's run the hell away. Unless you guys have something else that you want to do, grab.
There's another.
Do we know where the hell to run away towards?
Well, out.
There's another area.
There's
Back to town.
Don't make me get the handcuffs out, Torwin.
No, we can't leave without exploring the last room. What's
It's
the worst
probably
that
another.
could happen?
Everything else we found here has been a crypt. What are the chances that's going to be a crypt?
It could be an exit.
Although I'll note that the amber goo didn't go to that door.
Yeah, well, that was just the GM rolling dice and.
It didn't include any goo from that one of those bodies.
Yeah, right. That's another set of crypts. They are not armed. They are not priestly robed.
But they're not kids, at least.
No, you don't get to. Yeah, good luck getting to the secret door through the thing that you can't put asleep again.
They seem to be dressed as Elvises.
Yeah, no, they're not common as crypts, but
So,
All right.
there anything else we can do?
Yeah, we pull Torwin along with us.
there is.
Head for the stairs to get. Oh wait, are we gonna be able to get out?
Yeah. There's these doors didn't. These doors here weren't locked. You just.
Oh, I
closed
have a
them.
question.
No, I'm thinking we kind of ran down here suddenly for apparent reasons.
To escape the stuff happening up in the cabin.
Well, that was that spirit goo that you sort of banished. I don't want to say banished, but drove away.
Okay.
But there was one thing on our way down.
Uh-huh.
There was the room with a bunch of death sigils on it, and there were hands
Uh-huh.
with stuff on it, and I believe I still have a hand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What are you gonna do with that?
Souvenir.
God. We've been watching a bunch of Young Justice, so honestly that really resonates with me. But
And where do you put the helm of Dr. Fate?
not in your backpack. Not in your backpack and not on your head.
No, maybe not even on the shelf.
I've been watching that with my niece like this last week. We were on vacation and they were all kind of tired that day, and she kind of dozed off like halfway through the episode where that was plan B, was bring along the helmet of fate and slap it on his head. And so she kind of like sort of shakes her head and kind of looks at you. Why is Aqua Boy putting it on his head? Where's Wally? Why isn't he slapping the crap out of him to tell him to stop? What's going on here? What went wrong with the plan? Why is that plan B? I'm like, okay, we'll have to rewind because clearly you have questions that need to be answered.
Those are all legit questions.
Oh, those are all very good questions. If you fell asleep a bit, you'd definitely be very interested in hearing what those answers are. All right.
I mean, I'm fairly certain if Wally could, he would have gone over and slapped Aqualad.
All right. So yeah, and honestly, when they did watch it, she laughed out loud when Wally's response to that was, "Oh, dude." Like he pulls it out and he's like, "No, don't do it." And it's, "Oh, dude." And she's like, "Yep. See, that's exactly what you say in a situation like that." Okay. So in the interest of it being 5 minutes to the end, there because of what you guys, I mean, there isn't really a lot in your way. You can simply go back up to the top, climb up through the chimney thing because it got the stair, the tunnel because you've got handholds, and from that descend. Granted, in darkness, but basically down through a well-lit path down to Zeke's tent. It's a hike, but you don't have to worry about as long as
Boo,
you
does
don't.
that mean we get to have more of Zeke's stew?
If you want more of Zeke's stew, then yes, he will be. He'll be so honestly. He'll be so astonished to see you that. And I will mention parenthetically.
He might break out the fresh stew.
I will mention parenthetically, Ash, that when the mention of the font of time was she's reading various things and stuff like that. Some part of you. Both obviously has to, you're thinking about the clock and stuff like that, but also that part of you that is compelled by more elemental forces definitely reacted to that very strongly in some kind of.
So, what is this well of time?
Yeah, good. Well, that is a good question that will not be answered this evening. Deep within the heart of the mountain, which they discovered, and I mean, if I want to draw a clear blinking arrow, you think of that big freaking hole that thing is kind of half down into through the hole through the like that altar room. Then yeah, maybe down there. All right. So, somewhat anticlimactic ending due to the fact that you guys literally dodged every possible thing that could go wrong in that whole final thing. But good job, because seriously, like just every single thing right. The whole scenario is basically designed to be the first 45 minutes of The Mummy, and that did not happen. Except it's the first 45 minutes
and could have been the last 45 minutes of The Mummy.
Yeah. Well, no, it would have been
Run!
It would have been the last 45 minutes for The Mummy. Except in addition to getting The Mummy, let's also give him 7,000 or 8,000 like soldiers.
Yeah. If we had been a little bit more negligent about stepping on the little spheres.
Well, aside from that, I mean, I made a joke about it today, but in all honesty, Basler's basic, like when he explained the rule of like my approach here is going to be don't touch anything that looks like it has any kind of religious significance whatsoever, but steal the other stuff. That honestly, I looked through notes and stuff. That avoids, if you actually hew to that rule closely, that avoids 95% of the bad shit that can happen to you in this.
Yep.
Like that avoids.
But there's nothing to do with the altar.
Hey.
Oh no! There's actually no.
No, the skull altar.
Yeah, the skull altar. No, there's no. That absolutely. Here's the thing. You touched the stuff on the altar and you did a thing with the altar, but you didn't take the stuff from the altar because taking the stuff from the altar is basically like I can't remember what it specifically is, but it's something like a -1 or a -2 forward on every combat roll for the rest of your life. Like you're just cursed. Like you and it's like there aren't even notes about getting rid of it. You're just screwed.
But putting blood in the altar doesn't do anything?
No, it doesn't. It
hurts.
You're not a priest. Also, you don't know any of the stuff you're supposed to say. Also, they didn't.
There's words, there's gestures.
There's rules. There's things. People need to be playing things on the altar.
On the organ?
Yeah, I'm sorry, on the organ. So, yeah, unfortunately anticlimactic, except for the fact that you don't bring down 10,000 dead led by a immortal general who can wear other people's skins to look like a normal person. You do not bring them down to the living world.
I count that as a victory.
As much as I would have liked to have seen that negotiation, I will let you live and control the undead, and they will not slay any in the village below, as long as you bring me to a city composed of at least 8,888 living beings. You know.
I'm gonna
go to your room.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass on that. Except, not dying would be good.
The bad news is that what nobody else knows is that Basler was already dead, and when everyone else is asleep, he's going to prep their skulls. And
I mean, you think about stepping on the globes, guys. People could easily decide to solve the problem of getting to the shit on the shrine by just fighting the thing and killing it. If you do if you do that, everything wakes up. Down here, up in the cemetery, up above is like another 4,000 dudes.
And that's the people running away from the house as stuff erupts from the ground.
Exactly. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's snow globe.
Yeah, those are the bad snow globes. Those are where things get. Yeah, that's like and I've read some really fun, like, sort of. This is incidentally the scenario which I've been reading, like, hearing people talk about for bloody years, is called Deathfrost Doom, and I never hear about what goes on. I just hear about, like, oh yeah, here's how it ended for us, and in many cases it's, well, no, we released the entire apocalypse, and that was our level 1 adventure. So that's how the campaign started. Was we released, Carnifex, Pontifex, Maximus III, led him as part of our agreement to the nearest city, the Passport City, with 8,888 people, while he wore Zeke's skin so that he could pass as human. And once he was at the city, he said, "You may go." And we just ran the other direction while his army basically took over that section of the world. And that was our level 1 adventure, and we had to deal with the world after that. Like, they basically started off with freaking undead Armageddon, and that's where their campaign, like, began. So, good on you guys for not destroying the world.
Yet.
Anyway, so you can tell.
Well, cool.
So what is the hang on, special moves here at the end? Special moves. Wait, they're not. No, that's not right. Where's the? Oh, there they are. They finally came in. That took forever.
End of session.
End of session. When you reach the end of a session, choose one of your bonds doesn't really come up. Ask the thing. The bonds. Blah. Did we learn something new and important about the world?
Yes.
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 Yes. And also, one of the other things I'll note parenthetically, Margie, which you guys had already gotten some hint of, is this is not the only like sort of Duvan Ku cell.
Cult.
Yeah.
Some of those snow globes that indicate different parts of the world might also indicate where some of those things are at. Did we overcome a notable monster enemy? I'm going to say yes, even though you didn't really fight it because you totally dealt with with
Mr. Translucent.
with Malik Abathar. You know, for all the people talked about this particular scenario, it was a bit of a hot mess. There are my PDF has like 45 like sticky notes in it where I'm like renaming people and actually trying to figure out what the hell is going on because there's like, I don't know, 6 people wrote this thing and they didn't really take
Cross
really,
validate.
Yeah, some of it ties to the tree and that doesn't make any sense. Did we loot memorable treasure? I'm going to say yes. So that's 3
Yeah,
XP.
I think the book's good.
I think that's 3 XP. So actually kind of an obscene amount of XP that you guys have gleaned out of one adventure. I think some of you might be level 4 at the end of this. It's crazy.
I just got to 3.
So here you go. That's a lot. Well, yeah, but you were more of an XP fountain than you were an XP sponge.
I hit my own flag.
And don't forget your alignment.
Oh, and if you achieved your alignment for whatever reason, in whatever way, then you should certainly.
I certainly think I wrote a new song or story.
Or yeah. Yes, I would definitely say because that was a heck of a thing.
Definitely endangered myself to protect someone weaker.
I'm going to
10 points of damage.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess this tome was lost or forgotten.
Yes. I don't know what Basil's XP was for, but now I did not plan to continue with this group. I'm not going to not ever play it, but I'm not going to immediately jump in and do another thing with them, or that was not my initial plan. Was to do this, and then if we wanted to come back to them, we could certainly come back to them, and then try something else. How does that suit people? Or is everyone like, no, I want more with these people?
I like these characters.
I like them too, but I also want to try some other stuff.
I agree with you, although I would certainly welcome coming back to these characters at some point.
I think that they're fantastic. They're a tremendous amount of fun. It would also, time away gives people time to sort of rewrite their flags and come up with like the next thing, whatever that happens to be. Also, I would need to come up with whatever the next thing is.
And so I put a note on my sheet that I need to level up for level 3. So if we do come back to them, then I know.
Yeah, because honestly,
I haven't done that.
Honestly, as much as I enjoyed the thing, I'm not a big fan of doing the canned stuff. I had a thing that I got started with in the Star Wars one that was sort of like the base, but everything after that went so goddamn far off the rails that I hadn't looked at it. And I mean, we did 30 sessions in Star Wars. 20 of them were on Onderon, and I think the first 3 had anything to do with I was looking at the module, and everything else was just like shit that happened that I needed to just deal with. These games.
That's always the
Are
best
you saying we're a bit of
that.
the out of the box?
No, Powered by the Apocalypse plays like GMs like Amber, which is players do shit, and you spend the intervening sessions going, okay, well, how do all the NPCs react? Okay, right, moving forward. Now I know what's going to happen in the next session. And all your downtime is just going, what do the NPCs do? All right, so anyway, aside from all that, thank you guys. This was fun. I haven't done a proper dungeon crawl in, it's been a while. And weirdly, like, if not for the rather anticlimactic zombies, like practically no fighting, which is really kind of wild.
Except for Torwin.
Except for Torwin. Fighting Torwin? Yeah, Torwin's hard to fight.
I'm a fighter!
Yeah, sorry, Torwin. I didn't mean to, but honestly,
On the trip out, he got some.
We got
some
owlbear. Yeah, we started off with owlbears, and we didn't have a fight for another 5 sessions. I will say this: working way down. Basil was saying, Bill, you took a bullet because you're the person who's like super useful, but at the same time does everything he can not to be useful. So that's not an easy.
I was setting out to be cringy comic relief, and I think I did well.
You did no, you were great. Ash is sort of like the knowledgeable Bill Murray character to a certain extent. Like if Bill Murray weren't the main character in Groundhog Day, but just sort of happening on the side, that but some fun stuff there, and hopefully some stuff that we can build on later. Edward was the great thing, but the thing I really need, and I hopefully, Margie, you found the Paladin palatable to play, because I know you're not a huge fan of the Paladin, but Paladin.
Oh no, she was fantastic.
Yeah,
I loved playing the reluctant paladin.
But the thing that I really enjoyed was Torwin, aside from being hilarious and certainly my daughter's favorite character, possibly ever in anything, but certainly in this game, as a counterpoint or contrast to the character that you played all the way through Star Wars, who we struggled often to even figure out what she was going to be doing or what he was up to, or constantly finding themselves in a situation where I don't really know what my move should be, kind of a thing.
Torwin was a lot easier to play.
Well, Torwin was just like
more enjoyable.
Yeah, I mean, being a little bit being reckless is fun for the introduces fun, but simply being the type of character that's more likely to just sort of like super engage into something.
Act first, think later.
Yeah, I mean, you don't always have to be that person. You certainly don't have to be that kind of character to make it work. But as a contrast to very strongly not what I did the last time, perfect. I mean, just exactly like a great way of like sort of palate cleansing off of. Not that I had any problem with Alir, but as a palate cleanser from Alir, and you can move on to the next thing and go, okay, well that gives me an idea of what works with it. Blah blah blah. So I just want to say kudos, because that character was fun and got around one of the things that I think may have been occasionally I had to have been somewhat frustrating in Star Wars. It was for me, because I was like, God damn it, what did I do with Alir? So anyway,
and we managed to get out without Edward actually playing the creepy organ.
Dude, as much as I tried, there is so much. This is like the Mummy crossed with the Tomb of Horrors. There is so much shit in here that will just sort of one shot kill you if you're stupid. I'm
amazed Torwin didn't die.
Honestly, so am I. I honestly I cannot believe it, because there's so many crazy things where. Because you took it up to he was like super enthusiastic, but he wasn't stupidly enthusiastic. Where he was like the players daring the GM to kill you, because there's some stupid stuff that you can do. That's the kind of stuff that a bunch of high schoolers in 1985 would have done. Just like, hey, I'm going to do this. That flat out just kills you. And I didn't even get to rule Last Breath, which is one of my favorite moves in the game. I didn't even have none of you guys even had to roll Last Breath, because that one's great. If you roll on that one, you end up like bargaining with death.
Nice.
Yeah, no, it's quite something. All right, so we will figure out what's next. I'm in the back of my mind thinking masks. I don't know what other people's thoughts are on that.
I'm all over masks.
Does anybody have any strong objections to masks?
Masks is the superhero one,
Yeah,
right?
It's the teen Young Justice angsty superhero.
I will
one.
also say, because I know that I don't necessarily just want to play PTBA forever, but this one it is PTBA, but the system is pretty different. I mean, there's hit points are not a thing. Conditions are a deal. It's a different kind of thing as far as that goes. There'll be a bit of a learning curve, although at least the dice thing won't trip you up too bad. But there is definitely a learning curve in terms of figuring out some of the stuff.
Honestly, influence will probably be the biggest roadblock.
Just keeping track of it, and because in a weird way. How should I put this? so because this may be off-putting for people, in a weird way, as I've been looking at it, there is a, how should I put this? Nobody's necessarily punching anybody, although that can happen certainly, because it's a superhero game. Because you end up in a brawl in the middle of in the base because somebody said something bad. But there's a PvP kind of element to it because you do, and the game is designed. So putting this out front so you guys to kind of turn over, you do fuck with each other's characters, and I mean that in an actual mechanical sense. You do screw with each other's characters. If you go in and say, like you have the scene like a Young Justice thing going in there saying, "What are you doing, man? You're acting like this jerk. You're not that person. You're nicer than this. You're better than this. Blah blah blah." And you do that. There's a move associated with that, and if the move is successful and the other person doesn't try to resist it or whatever, you legitimately change their stats. And that happens 2 to 3 times a session per person sometimes. So your stats move more than hit points do in Dungeon World to a certain extent. Because one goes up, one goes down. And you'd be like, God dang it, I needed danger to be high because I'm about to go punch this dude. And somebody just talked me down to tell me I'm not a dangerous person. And now this is down and my mundane is up. And, so there's definitely that sense of, that honestly, I think Young Justice is fine, but I think of Arrow so much or Flash or something like that. You could totally play it because seriously, every time that one of those guys, Oliver goes, "Can you guys give us the room?" I'm like, "Oh shit, he's gonna fuck with her. He's gonna fuck with her labels," because that's exactly that's what. So there is. I know for some of you that I played with a lot in the past, PvP isn't the most necessarily, and it's not like you're sitting around trying to stab anybody or steal their crap, but there is definitely some I am screwing with your character, and it's intentional because it's all teenagers and you're all trying to figure out who you are, and every bloody conversation that you have with somebody where they tell you something that doesn't agree with your personal worldview screws with you because you're younger and everything that somebody tells you that doesn't match up with your personal worldview self screws with you. So it's a momentous event when somebody says, "I believe this about you," and you're able to say, "No, I don't buy that." Like that's a big deal when and it works best when the person has influence over you. So obviously your team has a lot of different people, whether or not influence simply being a little tick mark that says I care about what this person thinks, okay, and that the influence comes and goes. I care about this person. Now I'm mad at them, so I don't care about what they think. I'm not going to listen to them as much, but they can still, if they do certain things, can still mess with me. The punchline to that is, as characters in this particular setting, literally every adult that you meet has influence on you automatically when you meet them the first time. All of them.
Because they're
Vice
adults
versa.
and you're kids.
Because they're adults and you're kids. So Lex Luthor walks up to Superboy, and as much as he's mad at him, he's going to be affected by what he says because every adult has influence over him. So I want all that out there so you guys understand what it is, because I think I think that the guy managed to exactly capture what he was trying to capture, but it's also a little bit like, okay, can people please stop moving my stats around and giving me conditions all the time? And I don't want to be angry
No,
anymore.
that's not what makes things fun.
Yeah, no, I think it's absolutely fun, but you do kind of have to buy into that's what the deal is. So
Can't somebody make me cookies?
and there is that. There's all the. I mean, what's funny is when you get conditions, there's like things that you need to. The only way to get rid of the conditions is either somebody sits down and sort of like has a intimate conversation moment connection, builds a connection with you, or there's stuff you can do to get rid of it. But none of it's good stuff. Like if you're angry, you need to break something valuable or hurt somebody you care about, and then you're not angry anymore. Probably because you're now guilty. And how you get rid of guilty? Well, that's not fun either. So it's a whole network of stuff. anyway, so that's that. There's of course, if people want to take a break from PTBA, there's other stuff that we could do as well. There's lots of things. So I will send out an email about that. It's getting late, so we don't need to keep talking about it. All right.
Well, yay.
And if you guys, if anybody's got like, man, I'm just not up for supers, that's fine too. I get. I think it'd be challenging, but fun. All right. So again, thank you for this. This was a hoot.
Yes.
I haven't had to, I've been able to do Dungeon World, but not in any serious, lengthy, like more than a session or two kind of thing. So this was fun to really kind of get in there and dig around. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. And I will let you go because tomorrow's a school day for people who have school.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Or a work day for people who work.
Kaylee
Yep.
has
Not yet.
Kaylee, yeah. Sorry. Kaylee has 1 week and then she's back in school.
I have band camp starting next week.
Yeah, she's back on the 10th for like orientation day, and then she starts on the 14th. So, but I am excited about this. I'll say this: last year, I looked at last year's website. This was about 4 months ago, like when they started, and it was like, oh man, she already had to be up like at like 6:15 or something like that to get school on time. And the new school she's moving to was going to start at like 45 minutes earlier than that, or at least a half an hour. Like school was
A middle school?
yeah, it was like 7:15.
Oh, wait. That's earlier than me.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Well, over the course of the summer, they changed it. So now classes start at 8:50, which to me is just like
When does she get out?
That's just decadent. I just like, that's crazy.
Even when I was in elementary school. Actually, no, in elementary school it was at Brown then.
I was dropping her off at school in 6th grade. I was dropping her off at 7:45, and classes started at 8:02 or something like that. And this new school was gonna, like, classes were starting at like 7:20, 7:25. So it was gonna be over a half an hour earlier, and the school was, still a decent hike away. And then they moved it the other direction, so actually almost an hour later than she was going last year.
But when does she get out?
3:45.
Yeah.
So the Littleton School District is looking at flipping start times for elementary school and high
Doesn't
school.
matter because they're not going to do it this year.
Well, can I finish?
Yeah.
Because it matters to people like
It
Kaylee.
matters to Kaylee. Yeah.
So they're looking at actually having elementary school start the earliest and high school start the latest.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind if it was a little bit earlier in the day that it started, because it would get her out a little bit early. Because right now, if she takes the bus, she can't actually get home on the bus in time to make it back to swimming. So we've got to go up to the school to pick her up to take her to swimming. Anyway, this has gotten into a little bit inside parental baseball, so I'm going to stop making people sit through it. But it's